Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig out on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses. We're back here lunchtime, the 17th of June 2025, for another cheeky little update in regards to Manchester United's transfers, or lack of at the moment. We're going to get into it in this stream. Hope you're having a great day. It is El Scorchio down here in southern England today, guys. Don't know what it's like where you are at, but I hope you're enjoying the weather. Thank you for joining us, everybody in the live chat. Give us a smash of the like button. Hit the thumbs up at the start of the stream. That'll help us out. Smash the likes. Share it around. Get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're new to the channel. And also, of course, get your thoughts in the live chat throughout, and we'll be dipping in. And, of course, we'll have a Q&A at the end as well. Get in there. And if you're on catch-up later, you can always get your thoughts down below in the not live comment section. Also, you can give us a repost on X. The link's pinned at the top of the live chat there. If you want to give us a repost on X, we'll shout you out later on in the show. Nice one. Right, let's get into it then, guys. Let's get into it. I just want to highlight this comment from Kate Cadet real quick. Big up everybody in the chat, by the way. Beats Guy, Elliot, Bottomed Bliss, Steve, Dave, Eyes Wide Open, Venny Vidi, X-Man, Robert. Yes, Kate Cadet says, I hate this twat keeper, I really do. Okay, bit harsh, but, you know, in all fairness, mate, not that harsh. Because I don't like him either, mate. And it's not because he's not a nice guy, he's a heck of an individual. What a fella. Just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean you get to play for Manchester United, though. You've actually got to be decent. You've actually not got to have a hand made of Lurpak butter. You've got to be a lot more solid and consistent to be Manchester United's number one. We've seen that over the years. We've only had a few really solid, top-quality number ones in my whole entire lifetime. They're hard to come by. You know, Peter Schmeichel was probably the best of the best. Then Edwin van der Sar, David De Gea. These guys really cemented themselves as United's number one. But there's no word like cement involved with Andre Onana, because cement is hard. No, he's made of flubber. He is a poor goalkeeper, unfortunately, and that's just the reality. At least at Manchester United, at least in the Premier League, he can't handle the pressure. He can't handle the expectation of being a Manchester United number one. So we'll get onto it straight away at the start of this show then, before we get onto any other transfer news or anything. I mean, look, obviously, I'm expecting still that Ruben Amorim wants a new goalkeeper. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting that he wants to stick with Andre Onana, because that would be a fool's errand. Who the hell would want to go into another season with Andre Onana in between the sticks? You'd have to be clinically insane. Surely that's a big problem area for us. Minus bloody 12 goal difference. How many of those were down to Andre Onana? Probably 12. You know, and there's a lot of incidents throughout the season last season where Andre's absolutely flubber-handed it for us. And he's obviously not really good enough to be the guy. So if you're Ruben Amorim right now, surely you've assessed that, you've seen what's happened over the last 6 months and before his time coming to Manchester United, and surely you think that it's probably now is the right time to make a change. So from my perspective, if we don't replace Andre Onana this summer, there's all sorts of massive doubts that's come into my mind about the likes of Ruben Amorim, because what the hell would he be thinking going into a new season with Andre there? You're basically guaranteeing yourself a bunch of errors, guaranteeing yourself probably a lot of points dropped, and a lot of games lost as well. Because let's face it, he's not up to the standard. And if you could get somebody in there who was a much more solid, consistent goalkeeper, there's every possibility he could have a good season. You need to have a top keeper to be a top team, and we do not have a top keeper right now. So, yeah, very frustrated by the reports that are coming out anyway, and that's all they are at the moment. They're reports, but there is no move. We haven't heard anything about any comments in regards to Andre Onana or anything coming out. He's allowed to leave or anything like that. No. That's still not happened. There's a small part of me hoping that Agent Andre is playing a part in convincing Mbeumo to come to Manchester United, and as soon as Mbeumo's through the door, Mr. Flubberhand is going to be let go. That's my thoughts and hopes. But if Andre Onana's still here for the start of the new season, I'm just going to have to gouge my eyeballs out, guys, and fry them in cinnamon. Because this will be an unacceptable season to watch. I'm sorry, I can't sit through another season of him flapping around like Flappy Bird 2.0 in between the sticks like a bowl full of jelly. I can't do it anymore. And I'm sure a lot of you can't. So I'm sorry to say, but if Andre stays, fine. I don't have a problem with Andre staying. It'd be better to get rid of him. But we need to replace him with another goalkeeper, and Andre Onana can be the second choice goalie. Or he can help Doris make the tees. Whatever the case may be. But Andre Onana certainly is not cut out for the role. But these are the reports that come out anyway. So this is via The Athletic earlier on that says, Andre Onana's representatives held a meeting with Old Trafford figures last week, and the goalkeeper is expected to stay this summer. Although United could still enter the market at his position to sign a backup who can provide him competition. What? 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 Sign a backup to provide him competition? We've already done that. We've already done that. Doris is already in the kitchen. We've already done that. But no, in all fairness, we have actually done that. We've got Bayender at the football club, and we just signed Heaton up to a new deal. Look, this is from Fabrizio half an hour or so ago. Exclusive, Manchester United agree new deal for third goalkeeper Tom Heaton, staying at the club until June 2026. Decision shared with Ruben Amorim and approved by the coaching staff. Okay, I don't have a problem with us making a third choice goalkeeper, extend his contract for another year. Don't have an issue with that. But what's this nonsense about looking for a new goalkeeper as a backup to Andre Onana? That's insane. What are we doing here? So, in terms of backing up, data backup, hard drive backup, in his case, floppy disk backup. That's what it is. He's a extinct technology in Manchester United's goal. We need to get somebody who's up to date. We need to get an SSD of a goalkeeper, somebody who's a bit quicker, somebody who's a bit better, not a floppy disk. But anyway, Andre Onana obviously is expected to stay. That's what these reports say. In terms of us entering the market for a backup, can't really see that, to be honest. What's the point of that? We've already got a couple of backups at the club. We've already got Bayender. We've already got Heaton. So surely if we're going to be entering the market for a goalkeeper, it's going to be somebody to replace Mr. Flubberhand. It's not going to be somebody to come and back up Mr. Flubberhand. What's that all about? So I personally think, these sorts of reports that are coming out, they've got to be absolute nonsense. I'm hoping so anyway, because these reports say that he's staying. And I cannot fathom, in my mind, a reality where it makes sense for Andre Onana to stay. I mean, I can understand it if he stays, because we may not be able to sell him. That's the brutal reality of him being so poor. And he's on decent money at Manchester United. There's only probably a handful of clubs that would be interested in him, and most of which are probably in Saudi Arabia. And would he be interested in going over there, or does he want to stay in Europe? This is the thing. We may be stuck with Andre Onana, stuck with him. But even if we are stuck with him, we shouldn't just go in blindly with him in goal. We should go and try and replace and improve that position. Otherwise, we are in trouble this season, I think, because he's just not good enough. That's proven. So, yes, very concerning news about Andre Onana potentially staying and being the number one for us this season. If that happens, we could expect to have a shit season. Honestly, it can have that effect. Listen, Andre gives us zero confidence at the back, guys. You look at his performances in between the sticks and it has an effect on the whole team. They know that they've got a flubber hand in goal behind them. It doesn't give you that sense of confidence. You need somebody strong. You need somebody strong and consistent who can perform. And you need somebody who can, really give you that sense of solidity behind you. What? but you know what I mean? Like, the team is going to feel the effects of a great goalkeeper. Maybe you can just take an extra chance here and there. Maybe you can commit an extra number forward here and there. Whatever the case may be, it's going to have an effect on the team. If you've got a really bad goalkeeper, they know that the last line of defence is a floppy mess. And that psychologically is not good for the team. Whereas if they had a very solid goalkeeper, somebody who could be relied on and who made outstanding world-class saves on a regular basis and saved them, i.e. like a Donnarumma or someone like that, then they would be feeling a lot more confident going into games. They would be able to take that extra risk here and there. They would maybe be able to score more and create more. So it's not just about stopping the opposition from scoring. It actually has an effect completely on the confidence of the team, how good or bad your goalkeeper is. So it's a very important position in the team. We've got a flubber hand in goal. Surely all of the players know that. They know that Andre's an error-prone goalie and makes a lot of errors. And so, therefore, it is going to have a negative impact on the team, whichever way you look at it, guys. But I will just ask the live chat for a bit of fun here. I think I know the answer, but let's get into it. I mean, obviously, he's staying here, isn't he? Sharon Atkinson, nice one. Yes. How you doing, Susan? That's what I think as well, if that happens. But let's just ask the live chat very quickly. Andre Onana, keep or sell? Oh, it's El Scorchio today, guys. I don't know what the temperature is in here, but it is obscenely hot. Yeah, if Onana's number one, God help us all. Exactly. If you're backed up to Flubberhand, then you might as well pack it in as far as I'm concerned. True, that is pretty poor, isn't it, being the number two to Andre Onana. Onana's over it. Basically, if you're number two to Andre Onana, you're the worst goalkeeper in the country. And if you're number three to Andre Onana, you're the worst goalkeeper in Europe. So, there you go. Let's see what you guys are saying. Hi, Connor Walsh. What's going on? Tommy says keep. Susan says keep. Sell, 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 sell. Yeah, but it's the rival fans in here want to keep it. You know what I mean? The rivals want to keep us. The actual United fans sell, sell. All depends on funds, to be fair. Would rather keep him if it means we can push 20 to 30 million into someone else in another position. Oh, really, Samaconda? But the thing is, though, you say that, but you'd rather just buy another outfield player but still have Andre in goal. That is a concern because he's going to make loads of errors and concede loads of goals, lad, compared to a proper top solid keeper. Whereas you could actually spend 30 million on somebody like, you know, a Martinez over at Villa, get him in, get the solidity, get a better performance week to week. There may still be some errors here or there, but get yourself a better consistent performance week to week, and then that will give a better consistent performance for the team and more results more than likely. So I'm not so sure about that. Yep, sell him, says Welshman. Yep, fair play, lad. Exactly. There is an error proneness to him. That's it. And you could be doing well in a game, you know, 2 goals up. Next thing you know, a couple of flubber-handed incidents and it's 2-2. Or even worse, you know, you go down early in games. We've seen it many times. It's like fighting an uphill battle sometimes. You know, some people just want to ice skate uphill. Keep that. That's the problem. It is quite possibly unsellable. Right. So great point. Great comment. Unsellable. Very true. You look at who could want him. I guess a Saudi team, maybe a team in Italy, such as an Inter. Unlikely, but they did have him in the past, and he was good for them. So it could happen, I suppose. They got obviously Sommer, but he's getting on a little bit now. He's 36, whatever. They might consider it for a long-term fix. He did do better over there in Italy. So I just think he's not right for Man United. The pressure of Man United right now is very difficult. It's a huge club that's struggling. And also the Premier League is a different sort of an animal to a league compared to Inter Serie A anyway. So yes, it's unlikely he would be able to be sold. That's the truth. He is obviously an error-prone player. He was quite expensive. We paid 50 million for him. Even if we were to sell him for like 25 million, I don't think there'd be a queue of people around the corner trying to sign him up, to be fair. But you never know. Certainly at the moment, it doesn't even look like Man United are going to be trying to do that anyway. By the way, if you're just getting in the stream, legends, hit the thumbs up button. Help us get to 100 likes. Big up the live chat legends for getting in here. Give us a share. Hit the subscribe button. Have your say. I am just going to dip into the live chat for a couple of minutes about this Andre Onana situation before I move on to the new, you know, this stuff about Ekitike, Hojlund, Sancho, etc. But yeah, lots to get into today. Big ups to the legends getting in. Smash the like, smash the subscribe, and have your say. Yep, views from the bits, lad. He says Flubberhands has to go. Just rip up his contract. Yep, there you go. Send on loan, then sell. There you go. Well, we did get ripped off with that price tag. Who's worse, Onana or Massimo Taibi? Honestly, my genuine opinion is, for Manchester United, perhaps Andre. And the reason for that is he's had loads of games. Massimo Taibi only had a few games. And obviously that game against Southampton, he proper shat it with one of the worst errors in history. But Onana's been doing it consistently for a couple of seasons, so maybe Andre. But actually, no, that's not true, is it? Obviously, Andre's a better keeper. You know, he's played in Champions League finals. He's played regular. Obviously, he is a better keeper, but he's just so error-prone for us. Yep, Fleshin says, I'm not a Man United fan, but you really need to get rid of him. Absolutely. Greek fan legend. He says, to lighten up our spirits, Onana will have to inspect gadget hands, gloves, and feet to survive next season. Oh, Leeds will change their minds in the friendly. We pump you raw, son. Well, maybe. There you go. That's it. If Andre Onana has a bit of a flap in that game, then that's possible. But I just hope that he's not even here by then. Hayden, thank you so much. He says, I'm a Newcastle fan, but you're a legend pig. Onana is dreadful for you guys. Wish you the best of luck next season. Oh, thank you so much there, Hayden, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, there you go. Onana is not up to it, is he? We definitely have a Pope or someone like that over him. I mean, in terms of who we could get, let's talk about who we could get for a second. So, yes, Martinez is probably the most realistic. Villa have to sort of balance the books a little bit this summer. They're not expected to spend heavy, and they're also expected to have to sell a couple of players, which is also where Ollie Watkins is being mentioned as a player to possibly go. But certainly Martinez is somebody that would be wanted by United, I would think. Then you've got other options, maybe somebody like Diogo Costa. Who else is there? People have said Pickford and Ramsdale and these sorts of guys. I think we've got to aim higher than that myself. We have to aim higher than the likes of Pickford and Ramsdale, and they're good solid keepers. You know, Pickford in particular is a solid keeper, no doubt. But is he world class? He's not. but he is a good, solid keeper. We could definitely do a lot worse than Pickford. Let's just ask the live chat here very quickly. Hypothetically, of course. Who would you rather go into next season with, Pickford or Onana? Pickford is not a worldie or anything, but he is a lot more. He is a lot more solid than Andre Onana, but that's not particularly hard. Taibi's worse. Objectively, he is. Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, Andre did a lot more. He's already done a lot more in his career. Look, if you can't sell Onana, then fine, but we still have to replace the twat. Why can't Onana... Hey, you know what, Kate? Let's just calm down on that twat stuff right now, lad, okay? He's a nice fella. He's just not a very good player, okay? Or to be fair, I think we've all said worse. Why can't Onana be the backup? Well, he would have to be the backup, wouldn't he, if we can sign a number one? But the reality is he's already on quite big money at the club. Too much money to be a backup. We don't need an expensive backup. We just need a good backup. Bayender will do the trick every now and then, play 6 to 10 games. We don't need a proper backup. We just need a decent backup and then a good number one. Yep, no one wants to buy him, so we have no choice. Hey, not too bad, Man United Greek fan. Thanks for asking, lad. Sell Onana, says Niem2. Yep, Flubberhanders melts, go. Oh, expand. I know I've said worse. There's me. There's me saying don't say twat cake. And there's me calling him all sorts, mate. But it is frustrating watching these games, watching him make these errors. You know, this is my day off, and Onana's even managed to ruin that. Oh, cake, lad. But let's just buy another keeper to start and we bench him. Yeah, precisely. That's it, really, yeah. I mean, eventually he's going to get annoyed, isn't he? Eventually he's going to want to move. Surely he's not going to want to just sit around and be number two. I think he wants to play, which is where maybe a move does come in. If I was him and we do bring in another goalkeeper to be number one, of course you'd be knocking on Ruben Amorim's door and trying to move. Maybe trying to move back to Italy or wherever. I mean, you want to play regular football, obviously. They've only got a finite amount of time, these pros. You don't want to end up being a Raymond van der Gaal, just being considered a backup goalie. You know, you want to be playing regularly. Yep. There you go. Man United's biggest problem is the manager. Fix that before buying players. Not so sure about that, Madrid. I disagree with you, sir. I think, obviously, Amorim's not really had the tools to do the job that he wants to do so far, lad. We've asked a plumber to do carpentry. That's what we've asked, and it's not working. Taibi wasn't given a proper chance because he looked so gashed to begin with. Yep, you thought he would have been one of the first to go. Absolutely, yep. Just buy a goalkeeper and don't play him. Exactly. If we could get Martinez, then him coming in would be much better. De Gea, lad. De Gea would be an unbelievable signing back for us. Anyway, for the Pickford-Onana conversation, we've got Pickford easy. Pickford, and you support Arsenal. Pickford, Onana. Pickford. No, I don't want Pickford either. I'm not saying I want Pickford either. I think we need to aim higher than Pickford. I like the look of Costa. I like the look of Martinez, I do like that. But in regards to Pickford, no, he's just sort of like an average goalie. Same goes for Ramsdale. Ramsdale's just an English Onana who's maybe a bit better, but he's still got errors in him and he's solid, but he's better than Onana, but it's not that much better. I want somebody who's an elite goalkeeper or at least getting there. Maybe so, Nicky. To be fair, there was a lot of sense of optimism when we signed Andre Onana, even though I never, ever, ever wanted David De Gea to go, and I still stand by that was the most ridiculous decision Erik Ten Hag made, pretty much, and bringing in Onana. There was a sense of optimism when we signed him, wasn't there? I was happy. Not happy that he was replacing De Gea, but happy we were getting a Champions League goalkeeper who was supposed to be able to transform the way we play out from the back. That's what we were saying, the distribution, all this stuff. That was what was supposed to be the case. Yeah, might be able to do it in Serie A, but couldn't do it for us, obviously. Turned out to be a terrible, terrible acquisition. Give Onana a beret and a raincoat. He could be Frank Spencer. Oh, Betty! Don't matter if fans want Onana gone. The club will do what they want to do and don't care what the fans want. Fair, Ray, but how stupid do you have to be as the decision makers at this football club in order to think that it's a good idea to actually continue in the next season with Andre, lad? Pickford's the man, says Mikel Arteta. Well, if it was from anybody other than you, I might think the opinion was valid, lad. Rather a scarecrow instead of either of them. De Gea, yes. Pickford, Sanchez, De Gea. Probably Pickford. Pickford's so overrated. Pickford, obviously, Onana gives headaches and sleepless nightmares. Mark Redwood, what's going on, bro? Repent at leisure, all those fans who criticised De Gea and wanted him gone. Everyone said it couldn't get any worse. Those fans are idiots, aren't they? Absolute idiots. You know, David De Gea has been nothing short of an absolute legend for Manchester United. When you actually think about the time period, the worst period of Manchester United's time, pretty much over the years, he's been there the whole time and he was always our best player, pretty much. The disrespect from Erik Ten Hag was a disgrace. Do you know what? Erik Ten Hag was an absolute dick. Because you think about how bad he did over some... We actually managed to bring back Cristiano Ronaldo to the football club, and he still managed to score 18 goals in that first season for Oli, right? And he was good, and he could have continued to score goals. I mean, we would have definitely rather have had Cristiano Ronaldo up top, even at 40, than that Gashmus Boylan melt, right? We managed to bring Ronaldo back to the club. We had De Gea. There was optimism. There was an optimism at the football club. Yes, it went poorly under the end of Ollie's run, and he probably should have been given a lot more time in hindsight. He definitely should have, in hindsight. But obviously people thought he's not the man to take us to the next level. Well, careful what you wish for. The grass isn't always green on the other side. In fact, this time it was very rotten on the other side, because you know what happened next. The Rangnick situation, the Ten Hag situation, Ten Hag coming in and proceeding to do the most ridiculous decisions in the world, like bringing ridiculous players like Antony Dos Gastos and Hojlund for massive money, and then allowing players like David De Gea to leave. So he completely screwed us over, that melt, because we could have still had, and the Cristiano Ronaldo situation as well, in hindsight as well. There was nothing wrong that was Ronaldo was actually saying. Ronaldo's been proven essentially right in everything that he said in that whole Piers Morgan interview, Guff. He should have never done that, but the frustration was clear. The love for Manchester United was clear, but he just was disdained with how the club was run, and obviously Ten Hag butted heads with him, and Ten Hag didn't see the benefit of having Ronaldo around. But if we're being honest, if we still had De Gea and Ronaldo and no Ten Hag, but still De Gea and Ronaldo, we've been a heck of a lot better off over the last couple of seasons. Because say what you want about Ronaldo, he's still doing it for Portugal internationally. People say, oh, he's doing it in a Saudi league. No, you just watch the games. He's still a fucking baller. And obviously in for Portugal, he's still doing it. Come on. I mean, he would be leaps and bounds ahead of Gashmus Boylan for us this last season, just gone, if he was up the top of the pitch there. He is what you call a match winner. He takes his chances. He creates moments. So, make no mistake, Erik Ten Hag took a big fat steamy dump on Manchester United while he was here. He spent the better part of £1 billion. He got rid of a couple of key players that we should have never really got rid of. Like, imagine the dream it could have been if Ollie had stayed, maybe, and Ronaldo was banging in the goals, and De Gea was still here. It could have been a heck of a lot better than this shit show. So, you know, careful what you wish for. Grass isn't always greener. We screwed ourselves over. Erik Ten Hag's a proper mug, and he will go down in history as one of the shittest people in our history. I don't care what anybody says, oh, he won us a League Cup, won us an FA Cup. So what? He also languished us in shitloads of fucking debt, essentially, by spending loads of money. We're still paying for these transfers. Even this summer, some of them paying money for these shit transfers. And he also got rid of a couple of icons of this football club and generally just fucked us over. So, you know, you can say what you want, but sometimes managers may come in and have a successful time, but they leave the football club in a much worse position than when they started. And that's exactly what happened with Ten Hag. It also happens with other managers over the years. People used to say the same about, like, Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp's a great coach, but when at Portsmouth, did well at Portsmouth, but was it sustainable? You could argue it's not his fault. The hierarchy, the ownership, making these piss poor decisions, spending money, you know, and putting themselves in an unrealistic position. And clubs are often left in a worse state by certain managers who come in and just are maybe a little bit maverick or gung-ho in their spending or what they're doing. And it can have a big, serious effect for many years. And we felt this effect for many years because of this Ten Hag prick. Yeah, exactly. Ten Hag never liked Ronaldo after he owned Ajax with Ronaldo at Juve. He did. He spent $500 million and he got rid of key players, lad. Shocking. You were shocked at the way De Gea was treated. Yeah, they literally offered him a new contract as well. He had a contract offer on the table. He was thinking about it, and then they basically revoked it. That's actually what happened. They went, oh no, actually, you know what? The offer's not on the table. See you later on, son. Yep, Elliot, Ten Hag sent the club back 5 years. Vlahovic is a good player, you know, Mark Coughlin. Be a much better signing or much better player for us than the likes of Gashmus Boylan, mate. Vlahovic is a baller, lad. He is a good player. Yeah, I mean, he's not number one on my list or anything, but he is a very good player. Any news on Mbuemo? No, not really. Just the same sort of situation. Could be any minute, mate. We could hear an update any minute, but it's still nothing new about it at the moment. Onana will be great for United. Yeah, he was. He was a melter there, Gregory. Absolutely. 600 million. Unbelievable, yeah. Thank you. No worries, Doro. He says, thank you for saying the truth about Eric Fraud Hage. His signings absolutely ruined us. Definitely. Thank you, Doro. Yeah, that's it. It's had an effect for years, unfortunately. What's the story with Mbeumo from Brentford? Still the same situation, unfortunately. He is just, he is still keen on joining Manchester United. The personal terms are agreed, but Man United and Brentford still haven't reached an agreement in terms of the final amount or structure. There is a feeling that maybe Spurs could knock on the door, but at the moment, that hasn't happened. Well, hopefully 4 or 5 outs. Yes, 4 or 5 outs. Onana gone, there will be not another goalkeeper sign. Stop living in fantasy world. That's a bit negative, Ray. Come on, I mean, why wouldn't we sign a new goalkeeper, mate? It's ridiculous to pretend that we can just go into the next season with this guy. Exactly, I agree with you, Kate Cadet. You know, say what you want about Ollie, tactics, whatever. Actually, to be fair to Ollie, when you look in hindsight, his tactics weren't even that bad. Like, there was whenever we needed to attack and get at teams we should get at, we did. And whenever we needed to try and maybe play to our strengths, sit back, defend, counter, we did. And often to good effect, you know, beating teams like City on the regular and stuff like that. So Ollie was not by all means a genius tactician, but he also wasn't a mug. And in terms of his motivation and passion for the job, nobody could question that. In terms of what he could get out of the players, he got a lot out of the players. There was a feeling of team unity. You know, they finished second, they're getting in Europa League finals and stuff, and only losing on pens. Like, Ollie definitely had the team together. He had them playing and believing that they were actually Manchester United again. That's what he did, because he had that link to the past, and in his mind, Man United's a Goliath of a football club, and they should bloody well act and play like it. And that's what I liked about Ollie, and in hindsight, we had a mare getting rid of him. Ollie would have never have gotten us this low, I agree. Never. I feel you there, Mark Coughlin. It is annoying, mate, but hopefully in the next few days we see some movement. But yes, it is getting annoying at the moment. This deal, particularly the Mbeumo deal, hasn't been pushed over the line yet. Exactly, Baker. Exactly. I don't think we're going to sign another backup. That's crazy. Most likely, in my mind, the thing that still has to happen is Andre leaves and we sign a new goalkeeper. And that's what's going to happen. And Bayender and Heaton can stay as our number 2 and 3. Yes, Vlahovic looks an interesting buy. I like the Vlahovic link, personally, you know. Griffin says Vlahovic is anything but good. Juve lads despise him and want him out. He's just going to be a melt. Mason Mount at number 9. I mean, I don't really agree, but again, you never really know a player coming into the Premier League as well. It is different. But I mean, if we just have a look at, the Vlahovic record very quickly, I think you'll be surprised. Let's have a little look at his record real quick. So, for a start, he's won quite a lot of trophies, which is obviously helpful. He's 25 years of age, which is obviously the sort of, the sort of player we're trying to sign, the profile of the player we're trying to sign right now, who's going to be here for a number of years, but isn't too young and inexperienced, but also at the same time isn't too old. If we have a look at his seasons gone by, we can see the following in terms of his stats. So he played 29 games for Juve in Serie A this season, just gone 10 goals, 4 assists, 4 in 9 in the Champions League. Season before that, 16 goals in 33, 3 assists. Season before that, 10 in 27. Season before that, 7 in 15. Season before that, 17 in 21 in Serie A. Season before that, 21 in 37 in Serie A. So we're talking about a good, solid goal scorer here. You know, he's certainly no mug. But at the same time, it's not super prolific, but it is a good ratio and a good record there. He is contributing, obviously, to a good club at the top level there. So it does fill you with a bit of confidence. But it's not, it's not Gyokeres stats, is it? Let's be real. But it is good stats. It is good stats. But, we could probably do with a little bit more. It depends on the price tag, really. If he's available for 35 million, I'd definitely bring him in. But if you're talking about 60 million, 70 million, it's not really worth that money, is it? Thank you so much, Venny Vidi. He says, don't forget to hit the like and sub button, guys. It's free. Yeah, thank you for that. Hit the likes and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on our way to 91,000 subscribers. In order for us to get there, we need you to hit the subscribe button. That new person right there. Give us a subscribe. Yeah, well, I can understand that one spin. I can understand renewing Heaton's contract. He's just on a cheap deal. He's a backup goalie, third choice. I get it. You need a little bit of depth there. What if you have an injury crisis at goalkeeper? You'd be very happy to have Heaton, who's solid. So I'm not bothered about that. The problem I have is with gashtastic reports like this about Andre Onana representatives meeting with Old Trafford figures last week and the goalkeeper's expected to stay. That's what I have a problem with, because that's just stupid and foolish. And if Ruben Amorim wants to start the new season with him, I have to question him, because he's got to surely see the benefit in replacing Andre Onana right now. But you're absolutely right. Heaton has signed a new deal. That was reported by Fab earlier. It's until June 2026. Let's get on then with the rest of the show. We will get into the Q&A again at the end of the stream. But for now, I'm just going to carry on with the other bits and bobs of information we've got. Let me also just check quickly, see if anything's come out during the show in regards to Manchester United, any breaking news or anything. Just make sure we're up to date on it. Let's see. Let's check all the major reports and outlets here real quick. No. Nothing about Manchester United really from the key journos. Okay, so in regards to... yeah, exactly, there, Mark Coughlin. In regards to the other situations of players, we're trying to get rid of players, aren't we? Hojlund wants an Italy return. This is via Alfredo Padullo, who just says that Rasmus Hojlund wants to return to Italy. He really likes the Inter option. However, Inter need to reach an agreement with Manchester United. So we are still expecting potentially Rasmus Hojlund to leave and go to Italy, which could free up a little bit more money and also a position, obviously, for us to go and sign a number 9. Hey, thank you so much there, very much indeed. Let's go, Godzilla. Thank you so much for the 1,000 Juan, is that lad. He says, Onana Flubberhand Melton needs to be punted into the sun directly. Play an 18-year-old. He's useless. Bloody hell, Godzilla. That's a little bit strong, isn't it? How's about we just release him or transfer him back to Italy rather than punting him into the sun, man? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Thank you so much, Godzilla. But, you know, an 18-year-old is not going to be ready to do the job unless they're a quality Donnarumma type. But we don't have that right now, lad. An 18-year-old is not going to have the experience needed or the physicality needed, really, to be a Premier League goalkeeper. Let's be real. So I know what you're saying, though. Give somebody else a chance. Give somebody else a chance. I get you. Thank you for the super chat there. But I agree, we have to get somebody else in goal. We must. So not necessarily put a youngster in there, but we just sell him and sign somebody else. Yes, you will make a big loss on Andre Onana. Probably can only get half of what you spent back. But get him off the books. Get somebody else in. Happy days. Happy days. I'll hear again. MT says, I was enjoying my lunch until I heard the Onana news. Right. So Hojlund to Inter is still a very big possibility. Could be a loan move or something like that, though. Napoli also reportedly interested in Sancho. Don't know why, but apparently they have an interest in Sancho. This is from late last night from Gianluca Di Marzio in Italy, reporting that Napoli are making an attempt to sign Jadon Sancho. Could be absolute horseshit. Probably is, because like I said, who would actually want Jadon and who's prepared to pay him that money? I can't imagine they would see a benefit in getting him over the likes of Garnacho maybe. But then again, obviously Sancho, although the wages are a lot, you can pretty much pick him up for nothing. Or at least in some sort of loan deal move, try and, get him in there for the season. I suppose it's the cheaper option, but it's not the best option. Betis hope to secure the signing of Antony dos Santos as well. So reports here coming here out from MJ Critchley that says that initial conversations have taken place between Betis and Man United, but are yet to result in a formal offer, let alone reach an agreement. So Betis very much interested in Antony. It makes sense. Antony dos Santos is available for not an insane amount of money, probably 35, 40 million right now, maybe even a bit less, or certainly you could maybe do a deal over an 18 months, 24-month period. And this guy has still a good situation, you know. He's 25. He's still reasonably young. He's a Brazilian international. You know, you could definitely do a lot worse than bringing Antony to a football club if you're a team like Betis. And they've already tried him out there, and he was already good for them. He already fit in there well and did well. So from their perspective, it makes a lot of sense. This is probably where he's going to end up. Antony to Betis. Let's hope it happens. See you later on, Antony. Very important for us to move all these melters on, you know, all these Ten Hag signings that failed. Let's start a new era. See you later, Hojlund. See you later, Antony. You know, see you later, Onana, ideally. And then we can really start to improve, sign new players. The feeling is, right, after Mbeumo, we have to sell players to sign new players. So Mbeumo's costing in excess now of 60 million. That's if we can get it done, which hopefully we will very soon. But at the moment, it's not done. If we can get that done, 60 plus million. Same for Matheus Cunha. We're talking big money there. 125 to 130 million pounds already spent in this window. We missed out on Champions League, lost out on the 100 million windfall from that. we've got problems financially. So we have to sell players in order to buy new players beyond that. So at the moment, there may not be this whole big report of Andre Onana being listed or Andre Onana being sold or any of these players at the moment. But that's because maybe we have to sign other players first. But before we can sign other players, we have to make sure we can sell players beyond that. So other than Mbeumo and Cunha, that's expected to be our business done unless we can recoup money by selling other players. And if we do sell other players, then that's when we'll probably be able to replace other players in the squad as well. So if you can get rid of Hojlund, you can get rid of Antony, Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Onana, then maybe, just maybe, you can have a good transfer window, sign other players. But at the moment, we haven't sold anybody. We're waiting to make our first sort of sale properly here. Antony dos Santos is expected to be the one to go first because Betis have that strong interest in him. But we still have to reach an agreement with them. And who knows if they can actually afford him right now. That's the thing. Then the Rasmus Hojlund situation as well is expected to maybe bear some fruits soon with a cheeky little offer, but at the moment, again, not happened. So very frustrating that we haven't been able to move players on. Let's hope Sancho's wanted by a Saudi team or Napoli or anyone. Garnacho still can raise a lot of cash. But before we then go out and sign the likes of Gyokeres, Ekitike or whoever up top there, or the likes of Goalkeeper, we probably do have to sell. So let's just be realistic about that. Just the financial situation is not great with the football club this summer. Okay, so let's have a little look at this then. So that's the players out information we've got there. Just Hojlund, Sancho, Antony to Betis. There's other links with other players, but I don't think any of them are really that sort of advanced. And none of those are advanced either, really, but they're the most likely to happen sooner rather than later. Okay, let's also just give you the report on Ekitike, the latest stuff. So various outlets saying that this player has been discussed at Manchester United. Amorim's still a huge admirer of Gyokeres, but others at United not convinced, making Ekitike a real possibility. The belief by quite a few of United is that Ekitike can complete the new look front line of United. Again, he's nowhere near my first choice because we're talking about a lot of money. So this is from the Times that says United are monitoring the situation of the £60 million rated Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. And again, he's just far too much money. If you can get him for 40 million quid, it's worth the punt. And he does look good. He does look good. But he's not proven to the point where we would be prepared to spend 60 million on him. That's an Erik Ten Hag signing. It's not a signing that makes perfect sense at the moment. You can't expect him to come in and be the main guy either. Huge pressure. He could be another Hojlund. I do think he's going to be better than Hojlund. He looks kind of like an Isaac sort of player. He reminds me also a little bit of Xerxes in his movements with his feet and stuff, but obviously more of a goal-scoring player as well. Like, he has got a decent record goal-scoring player. So he's a good player. He's a bit of a unit. He's strong, quick, all that sort of stuff. However, £60 million for 14 goals in the Bundesliga? Pull the other plonker. No thanks. So it's a no from me, Carol, on that one, when there's players like Gyokeres you could maybe get for just a little bit more, or even Osimhen. Even Osimhen I would definitely prefer to take a punt on, because he is a baller. He is a proven player at 26, 27 in his prime who's going to get you goals and wreak havoc for opposition defences. This guy, less so, And Osimhen's not proven in the Prem, but, his pace, his speed, everything, that's all going to help. But still, I have to say, this guy would just be a waste. Well, not a waste, but if you're paying £60 million for him, that's a waste of money, in my opinion. You should never pay that much for him. Anyway, it looks like Liverpool are obviously in the race for him at the moment as well, and they've got an interest in bringing him in. So given the choice, if Liverpool actually do offer to buy him, then surely he'd probably end up going to Liverpool anyway. So I honestly don't think there's much reality of us bringing this guy in. He's being talked about. This Ekitike to United link is on all the papers and it's being discussed. But in reality, it's quite unrealistic. He doesn't really fit the bill fully for what we're looking for. We need somebody who's got more of a proven record in terms of goal scoring, I think, at the moment. Maybe a bit more experience, not a 22-year-old Gashmas Boylan wannabe. No disrespect, he's better than that, but probably he's got to be. But in regards to, Gyokeres or someone else, that's really where United should be looking to spend our money in terms of a number 9. And that's if Gyokeres is even viable. Still at the moment, there's a potential he could go to Arsenal. They may be using him as leverage in a deal to bring in Sesko, though, and so he may well be available. But Sporting asking for seemingly more than what they'd agreed, which is around about sort of 80 million euros they're expected to want for him, which is 70 million pounds. It's a lot of money, but it's not terrible value when you consider that this guy's being rated at 60 mil. 60 million Ekitike or 70 million pounds for Gyokeres. Let's ask the live chat, guys. Who would you rather bring in out of those two players for those price tags? 60 million for Ekitike or 70 million for Gyokeres? Have your say. Gyokeres is 5 years more experienced. His record is just undeniably way better in almost every way. But Ekitike does have big potential. But at the moment, you've seen United really struggle with signing players that have big potential. The potential turns into guff. Yep, Osman says Bizarre Pudding. Okay, I didn't ask that question, but I respect that. Chris Wood, Ekitike, interesting. Gyokeres. Yeah, Ekitike is a very good player. I like it. I like what I've seen from him, mate. Absolutely. But again, it's the Bundesliga. You can look good in the Bundesliga. Werner did. Sancho did. Kagawa did. You know, you can look good in the Bundesliga, but ultimately come over here and shart it. Gyokeres, Victor, Chris Wood, Gyokeres, Ekitike, Gyokeres. Yeah, exactly, superstar. Fair play. He says, got to say, both aren't my first choice. Yep, Ekitike, definitely not worth how much Frankfurt want for him. Spot on. Gyokeres, 200%. He's more experienced, got a feeling for the Prem. Yep, neither. It's Aussie for me. Awesome. And yeah, Ekitike, Weghorst, Gyokeres. Crikey, I don't know how you're going to cope there, Man United Greek fan lad. Erling Haaland would flop if he's not in City. Disagree in the right teams. He'd still score a lot of goals. You know, he is a great finisher, to be fair, in terms of scoring goals, his movement, his heading. He is good. He's not the best at anything else, but he is good at getting his movements in the box and getting goals, you have to say. You don't pay 65 million for potential. No. Although even we have done that many times in the recent seasons, which is why we shouldn't do it again, because it doesn't really have a good track record for us, does it, with players like Antony and Hojlund and these guys. Ekitike, get Cavani back. Just sign Mateta. Good call, Kanya. I like your style. Couple of backup options in the Prem for us, isn't there, if we can't sign the likes of Gyokeres. Somebody like a Mateta would be a good addition to the team, I think, right now, with that proven Premier League experience, decent strike rate. Definitely. Other players you could bring in, you know, we talked about Visser. There's definitely other options. You would take Osman because he can easily kill low block teams. Yeah, I like your style, Niraj. Ekitike for United, Gyokeres for Arsenal. I don't think we're actually going to get either of those. My gut feeling is we're probably not going to get either of those. We might try, but I don't think we'll get either of those. Both, says Neil. McClare, who are we talking about? McClare, Brian McClare, legend. Only seen highlights, but Ekitike's shooting doesn't impress me. We haven't had a good right back since Gary Neville. We played Valencia for a long time, and we had Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Why did we sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Don't know. Yeah, foolish. I would have definitely kept him. He was a good, solid defender. Excellent. If that doesn't work, get Ronaldo back. That 40-year-old got more guts than the whole United team. Definitely Jeff. We should have never let him go either. Should have let Ten Hag go instead. Justin Cliver, why not? I like your style. Right. Anyway, hey, Sully, let's go, you legend. Have you seen what Omar Barada said? Remind me, lad. I have seen it, yes. What was it again? Yes. What? Oh, was it about Andre? No, hang on. Let's have a look very quickly and remind myself. But yes, I know what you're talking about. I did see the headline like an hour ago, but it's just got out of my mind here for some reason, lad. Yeah, Omar Barada on Matthias Cunha. Is that what you're talking about? Anyway, what did he say? He said, what's he say here? He's a player I think the fans are going to love. I don't think that's what you're talking about here. I don't know, mate. I don't know. There's lots of stuff that's been said here. Oh, the champions by 2028 thing. Oh, okay. Yes, I can see that here. He says this. Project 150, which aims to win the title by 2028. We just finished 15th, and it seems impossible, but why not aim for that? I firmly believe we can achieve it. We have 2 or 3 summer transfer windows to build a team that started to be competitive to win the Premier League. Hey, fair play, lad. Yes, well, I like that. I like that, lad. I like it, but also don't like it that much because it's got to happen first. But it's good words, you know. I think that's realistic. You've got to try and aim for that. It's quite unrealistic for us to do it before then, but you've got to have a target of trying to do it over the next 2-3 seasons. Yeah. Is only Nagalo still available? Is Mbeumo better than Mitoma? Yes, he is, in my opinion. Yes, because if you look at the stats are undeniable for Mbeumo this season. They're better than Mitoma's. Mitoma, very, very good. Yes, Ekitike, creative forward. Would I take Sesko? I mean, I would take Sesko, definitely, yes, but he's not my first choice. his strike rate's really not that impressive over there. I'd rather Ekitike than Sesko, to be honest. I don't think Sesko's strike rate's all that impressive over there. Visser, I know, I really rate Visser as well, and he could be available for not too much money, lad. I totally agree with you. We could do a lot worse than having Mbeumo and Visser, who already know each other as well. Matoma's old and expensive. Yeah, he's like 31. It's hard to get him off of Brighton. Mount needs to step up. Also, Xerxes and Hojlund need to sign Baleba. But yeah, let me go and have a look at some of these other Omar Barada quotes, because I did see a bunch before the stream here, and obviously there's I didn't put them up on the screen. Yeah, so he said that Man United can win a title by 2028. He also gave a comment in regards to the situation with Matheus Cunha, just talking about Matheus Cunha, saying that he's a player I think the fans are going to love. We can talk about his technical abilities. He can play in 3 different positions. He's a playmaking attacking midfielder. He can score goals. He can make assists. He said, I think he's going to lift people off their seats. He's got a bit of swagger about him. The people are going to really like it. Dare I say, Cantona-esque. Which, that is a pretty bold claim, isn't it? It's a bold comparison to compare him to Cantona. Pretty mad. He also commented on the club back in Ruben Amorim. He said, so by the time we got to now, we have had all the discussions about what the squad needs, the 2 to 3 year plan to get the squad that's capable of winning the Premier League. We have a very clear roadmap of how we're going to get there. Had Ruben started on July 1st, 2025, we wouldn't have been able to have all the knowledge. And that's what I feel these 7 or 8 months that he's had. He's suffered in the Premier League and the team has suffered. That's why I feel it's really going to help us in the future. So, you can't really argue with that, can you? Also, Omar said we're going to do our best to do more signings quickly. Sometimes when you're not quick, it's because you're negotiating and trying to make sure you get the right value for money. So being efficient or quick isn't necessarily the best thing for the club. Fair enough, yeah. So it looks like obviously we are doing some business this summer, but I guess they're not desperate to try and get it done at the moment and just pay the money, because you obviously don't want to get bent over too much. But essentially, the points to make from this conversation that Andy Mitten had with Omar Barada here is that Amorim is the man and he can turn it around, basically. We can expect to sign players in this transfer window. Obviously, talk about new signings, all that sort of stuff. So, interesting. There you go, guys. There you go. Okay, let's get stuck into the live chat then for a cheeky Q&A for a few minutes. Let me go over to x.com real quick and shout out everyone who gave us a repost here as well. And if you're just getting in here, I guess the biggest stories of today is Ekitike is being discussed internally. Heaton signed a new deal at Manchester United, extending his contract to next summer. And Andre Onana is expected to stay. This is via The Athletic. So, yeah. Let me shout out everyone who reposted us on X then. Thank you so much to the 8 legends that shared us around. Javier, Francois Coq, Views from the Bits, Views on Sport, The Mario, Griffin, United Flying High, and Aaron Homeyard. Get in there. Thank you so much, guys. Right, let's get stuck into the live chat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and have your say. Gungshi, you legend, what's going on, lad? Just got in. How you getting on today, Gungers? Yes, lad. What do you make of this Andre Onana news, Gungshi, lad? Sure, I just hope that it's not the case, but The Athletic here, is reporting that Onana's representatives had a meeting at Old Trafford and the goalkeeper is expected to stay this summer. Well, I'm not going to go over it again, but we've had a bit of a rant about it this lunchtime. It's so annoying. Just got to imagine that it's not the case, and we've got to imagine that once players are sold and we've raised a bit of money, I mean, there's no point slagging off Andre now and transfer listing him right now, because we still haven't actually replaced him. We haven't got the funds available to replace him. Surely we need to sell players after we've signed Mbeumo and Cunha to be able to finance deals for a goalkeeper and a striker and maybe other signings. So we still have to get rid of players like Antony and Garnacho and whoever in order to bring in players that we hopefully will replace inferior players with. And unfortunately, Andre's in the firing line to be replaced because he is bad. That's it. He is bad. Nice one, Stephen Shipman, you legend. Yes. So from that perspective, I think we're going to see us later in the window try and sign a goalkeeper, maybe Martinez. But at the moment, it's been reported that he's staying, but I find that insane, and I just cannot believe that Ruben Amorim would want to keep him for this season. I think we're going to get a new goalkeeper still. United need a number 8. Edison's the key. With all these signings, you can only imagine what type of window United would have if Bruno had actually left. Fair enough. Okay, Bruno, he could have gone at the start of the window. That would have given us that windfall of 100 million. And then we could have maybe signed some of these players. That's true. But we can still sign these players and have a good window by selling other players. Let's not forget Bruno Fernandes is one of our better players. And our captain. And probably the only player who's even got the chops to be captain right now. So there you go. I mean, it would have been a big loss in one regard. Yes, we'd have got the money and we could have had a good window. But we might have signed gash players again. Who knows? It might not be guaranteed to work out. Saying that, I think we could have used that money well and got a lot of players signed. But we can still sell Garnacho. We can still sell Antony, Hojlund, Onana, Mount even. Who knows? Probably not Mount. He's impossible to sell. But you know what I mean? We can get Sancho off the books. We can get Rashford off the books. Save money, spend money. It's highly possible and plausible that could happen. So we still got money to spend if we can sell other players. Yeah, we do need old school players with some grit and toughness. Absolutely, you're absolutely spot on, lad. Yeah, Red Devil United, what's going on? He says, Onana staying. Has anyone checked on the cake cadet? He was in here earlier, mate, and he was fuming, lad. He was fuming. Said it ruined his day off. What would be your ideal dream lineup for pre-seasons? I don't know, I'm not even going to get into that because we don't know who we've got signing right now. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Cunha and Mbeumo with like a Gyokeres as a striker or even Osimhen or just a new striker. That's the most important thing. Goalkeeper-wise, obviously, try and get a new goalkeeper. Those are the most important things. The rest of the team, I don't really have much of a problem with, personally. I think Bruno can do bits in the middle of the park. I think Casemiro's still got a lot to offer. Ugarte has potential still, even though I'm not blown away by him. Mainu is a great young talent. Collier looks really... I'm not bothered about the midfield. The defence, we could do with a new centre-back because we've lost Lindelof and Evans. We could do with a new centre-back because there's injury problems at centre-back. That's the only reason. Otherwise, we'd probably be all right in that regard too. But because of injury issues, Yoro seems injury-prone. De Ligt may be injury-prone. We've got Slabby, who's solid. We do have players that can play there. We've seen the likes of Luke Shaw and Mazraoui play at centre-back at times for us. But we could certainly do with another centre-back as well. But other than that, even the defence is not that much of a problem. We've got a good set of defenders. Like when everyone's fit, Martinez, De Ligt, Maguire, Yoro, Heaven. I'm pretty happy with the players we've got at centre-back when they're fit. It's keeping them fit is the issue. But certainly could do a bit of cover there. But in regards to the midfield and the defence, no problems there, really. Once Cunha and Mbeumo are in, I've got no problems with the number 10s. It's about getting that striker and that goalkeeper. And once you've done that, then we could be a much better team if we buy well. Obviously, you still got to buy well. Gangshi says, Onana staying would be gashtastic. Essential that we offload some of the melters such as Sancho and Antony, etc. It really is, yes. Well, we're hopeful for those guys going. Napoli have got an interest in Sancho, apparently, reported by Gianluca Di Marzio in Italy. We know there's maybe a couple of clubs in Saudi might be interested. Betis is still hoping at the moment to secure the services of Antony. They're in discussions with Manchester United at the moment, and they're expected to make a proper bid soon, So there's a couple of players right there that could go. Hojlund's maybe wanted in Italy as well. Possible loan move with an obligation to buy or an option to buy to Inter still on the cards. Nothing, again, tabled-wise, bid-wise just yet. But those are the three that really are likely to be happening reasonably soon, I suppose. And then you've still got players like Garnacho and Rashford, which might take a long time to sell. They may be drawn out over the summer, but they'll generate quite a bit of cash. So it's possible we could definitely sign players once we've offloaded a few of those melters. Absolutely. Yes, Gunks, she says, greetings, Bacon Brigade, brother and sisters. Shout out to the mighty Hamada, the greatest community in all the land. Thank you so much for joining. If you are just getting in, remember to hit the thumbs up button. Every little like helps the stream out. And subscribe if you're new. We'll read a few more comments out then. And remember, we'll be back on here tonight at 10 p.m-ish for a cheeky little evening rundown of all the latest transfer news and a community vibe chat. So join us for that at 10 p.m. tonight. Subscribe and click the bell icon. Avram Glazer, get out, lad. Avram Glazer's biggest problem with the club is the fans. Oh, do you know what, Avram, lad? I'm starting to think this actually is Avram Glazer, by the way. Oh, no, it's an Aussie dollar there. It's an Aussie dollar. No, it's not. Avram Glazer, fair enough, lad, but... I mean, it's obviously not the fans, is it? The biggest problem is the shithouse owners and has been for the last nearly 20 years, lad. That's the biggest problem. And we all know that. How are we going to win a title by 2028 when we're persisting with players like Onana? Exactly. I actually don't think we will, though, Cake. I know this is being discussed right now. It's because Agent Onana's working on bringing in Mbeumo, lad. Samuel Luckhurst yesterday saying Onana has advised Mbeumo to join Man United. Onana's putting in the groundwork to convince Mbeumo to come. instead of going to those shithouses Spurs. And then as soon as Mbuemo's through the door, we're transfer listing Andre Onana. That's the reality, lad. Good afternoon, Craig. Yes, what's going on, lad? Onana not leaving now. United should get players who can score more goals. I still believe, guys, in my heart of hearts, Onana's leaving this summer. I have to believe that. I just think that we haven't got the funds right now to sign a number one, so they're not risking selling Andre Onana until we can bring in another number one. Once Martinez or somebody is bought in, or we've sold one of these few players and we've bought in and got enough money to bring in a goalkeeper, then I think we will replace. I have to believe that, because I cannot imagine a reality where anybody at Man United thinks it's a good idea to start another season with Andre in goal. It's crazy to me. So for that reason, surely we move him on. And if we can't move him on and he stays, I understand not being able to maybe move him on because nobody wants him. But if he stays, we've got to sign a new replacement anyway. Shaw's a clever guy. You can't sell a guy who's injured. Oh, he's like that guy in Escape to Victory. You know, when they take the slat out of the mattress, they've got to injure their goalkeeper so Sylvester Stallone can play to complete their plan of escaping or whatever. So the goalkeeper has to take a broken arm. So they take the wooden slat out of the bed and they put his arm across it, and then they stamp on it, right, and break his arm, right? That's what's going on in Luke Shaw's household any time that the transfer window opens, mate. You know what I mean? He's like, right, okay, time to injure me. This time, twist my ankle. You know what I mean? Shocking. Oh, Nas, I need to do a Timo Shafter video. Listen, I did write a whole script for Gyokeres United, but obviously things changed a little bit for there. But I'm going to adapt it, and I'm going to record it soon, and I will get another Timo Shafter one on in regards to convincing Gyokeres to join Man United, lad. Yeah. Who would buy Onana? A team in Italy? He was good over there. It's possible. Hello, Patrick Power. You'd have to do a cut price deal, obviously. And Mbuemo is going to be good. I think he's going to be great, mate. Yeah. Like we said, in fantasy football terms, there was only one player who got more points than Mbuemo last season, and that was Salah. So it tells you what sort of season he had. What's that? Please give us what your box of four midfielder would be against Newcastle, Liverpool, Chelsea, and City, Cunha, Mbuemo, Cams, I assume, unless you want the bench, one of them. What do you mean box? Oh, box of four midfielder. Okay, so for me, it would be, at the moment, it would be Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in the middle, with essentially Casemiro obviously playing the more sitting role, and Bruno being a bit box to box, but ultimately both playing sort of, you know, trying to spread the playmakers. And then in front of them, yes, it would be Mbuemo on the right side of the tens, and then Cunha on the left side of the tens. So I think that sounds pretty potent, to be fair. Bruno maybe is better advanced, but I know he can play deeper in the midfield too, like that. He's got great passing, you know, he does take the chances, he spreads the play. So I think he would be fine in that role for us. Yeah, so that's what I'd do. Slabby turned his chance of joining West Ham last time. Surely Onana's not going to do the same. Who wants him? That's the question. You have a cousin named Andre. He's 48. I'm sure he'd be better than Onana, probably. Give him a call, lad. Sancho staying, Onana staying, Shaw staying, 3 United, 6 problems staying. Not good. Well, you said only 6 problems. We've got many more than 6 problems, don't we? Mount's a problem. Andre's a problem. Rashford's a problem. Sancho's a problem. Antony's a problem. Hojlund's a problem. Shaw's a problem. There's probably a couple more problems too. We just need to get rid of that. Get in there, Daz Salford. Oh, thank you so much, Daz. Yes, Mrs. P met Gaza yesterday, guys. I'm well jealous. She went out to Poole Town shopping, and she bumped into Gaza in a shakeaway shop, getting a milkshake at lunchtime. She bumped into Paul Gascoigne. Legendary stuff. There's a picture. I had to convince Mrs. P for about 45 minutes to let me post a picture. She took a selfie with him, and I had to convince her to let me post it because I just wanted to put it on there, because it's not every day you bump into Gaza, is it? You can see it on the community page if you haven't seen it. What about Ugarte? Yeah, no, I think he's behind Cassie at the moment, and Bruno for me in the midfield too. But yes, definitely he's there. Mainu's still there. You know, these guys are definitely going to play a role in rotation. But Ugarte, honestly, I've liked him in some games. He's really got a good character. I like his battling nature. But I haven't been blown away by him yet. But I'm hopeful. I think he's going to have a good season. I'm hopeful. Yeah, season finished. We've already put a 5 on. We're going to get relegated. Oh, Jamie. Yeah, Ugarte, slow cake. What happened to Van der Beek? Donny Van der Beek. Goodness knows, mate. Didn't he go over to, was it Turkey or somewhere? I can't remember now. After Onana convincing him playing with a join United, he's now staying. Onana, please help us convince Gyokeres too. Yes to Grealish, actually. No to Walker. As much as I think Walker's been an incredible player over the last decade for both his club and country, you know, when he was at Spurs and City and country, he has been great. I don't see it anymore. I think his legs are starting to go. You know, his game's always been a lot about the pace, you know, and he's 35 now, I think, isn't he? Not the right time for him at the moment, no. He's still a good player, but no, I saw him get exposed a couple many times lately. What are you on about there, J. Doe, lad? Thank you very much, Eduardo. I appreciate you, legend. Yes, she is, lad. Bruno provided a lot of defence for Portugal. I think he would be fine in the pivot. I agree with you. He's a combative player. He gets stuck in, you know, so I think he would be fine in that position. It's maybe not ideal. MB says, Bruno and Cassie against top sides in the Premiership. I can excuse Amorim as he's experienced Bruno in big games in this league, but United fans can't pretend they don't see it won't work. Disagree with you, MB. I think it will work. I think that will work. Obviously, we're not saying that every game. There'll be combinations of different players, but I think Bruno can play deeper alongside either Cassie or Ugarte or Mainu, and we could have Bruno playing that key role for us. I think that can work. He played it for us a lot in the past, actually, just maybe not as much as further up. Yeah, there you go. I know. Could have been great for us, couldn't he? She did, Simon. She did. Nice one. Onana might turn it around next season, give him another chance. Very much doubt it, John Luke, but fair enough. I like your optimism. Casemiro's on the slab heap most of the year. Did you forget the last 6 months of Casemiro, though? He proved to everybody what a great player he still was. He can still do it. He's still an experienced head. Walker's signing for Everton. Yeah, Walker's lost it now, hasn't he? I did not see that, Dean M. What the hell? Best midfield pivot we've got is Cassie and Ugarte, but we need an improvement. Bruno is an improvement. It's shoehorning. I don't know. I disagree. I think Bruno's levels above Ugarte still in that role, as long as he's playing alongside, you know, a more defensive, combative midfielder like a Ugarte or a Casemiro. I feel like Bruno can provide us a lot there in terms of creativity and stuff. Also, Grealish would never sign for United. No, he wouldn't. But I would have him, actually. I do think he is a good player, makes stuff happen. We could do worse. Do you think United have arranged for Onana to stay just to cheer the pigster up? Yeah, maybe. What did Fabrizio post there? Oh, the picture of Onana. Oh, right. No, I didn't see that. Prediction on our goal difference. I think plus 12. I'm going plus 12 this season, which is a 24 swing from minus 12 to plus 12. Anyway, guys, listen, I've got to wrap this up. Probably Liverpool, the Mog lad, I reckon. Right, guys, I've got to wrap this up, but thank you so much to everybody who's tuned into the show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, click the bell icon. We'll be back on here at 10 tonight. Thank you, everyone, for the chat at lunchtime here, you legends. There's the latest sort of goings on. Seems like Onana's staying. Ekitike is being discussed internally, but no bids or anything. And it's expected that Liverpool probably going to get him anyway. I don't really want him that much to begin with. I'd rather a Gyokeres or even an Osman or somebody like a Mateta or a Visser even with the Prem-proven experience. So I'm not that bothered. But there you go. Heaton signed a new contract as well for another year. So we've got the third choice goalkeeper and we've still got Andre at the club. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Bruno plays deeper for Portugal. Exactly, yeah. So they're often playing like that midfield three with, him, Bernardo Silva, and, obviously they have different variations, don't they? Sometimes Vitinha, but yeah, you're right. Hey, take care. Thank you, the Cake Cadet. Get in there. Nice one. Right, that's it from me, guys. Thank you for tuning in. All the moderators, Cake, Gungshi, who else was in here, the mod-wise, all the legends. Big up the mods. Big up the members in green, like Stephen Shipman. Thanks for supporting the show, you dons. Nice one, History Buff, Bottom Bliss, Simon, Omar, everybody who's got in the chat, DJ Superfly Guy, Sean. Thank you so much, legends. You can come back and have your say in the not live comment section after this video is finished. Come back and have your say. Keep the debate going. Nice one, Stefan, Connor, Elliot, Sathish, and everybody else as well. Thanks for watching. Give us a follow on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick at Flying Pig United. Links are in the description down below. Also, hit the sub up, as I say, and I'll see you at 10 p.m. tonight for another rundown. Unless there's any breaking news before that, big breaking news, and I'll jump straight on, so keep a lookout. Right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Bunch of legends. Big up, everyone, and I'll see you later. And remember, Piggy loves you. And also remember, when the seagulls follow the troll, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much. Get in there, you beauties. Thank you so much to all the patrons here for supporting the channel on patreon.com/FlyingPigUnited. As a thank you, all you legends will be appearing on this outro list. Get in there. Once again, thank you to all the YouTube members, but one of the best ways you can support the channel is on patreon.com, so check it out. Patreon.com/FlyingPigUnited. And once again, a big thank you to all the legends that do support the channel on Patreon. Get in there.